April new catch up. It's April, right? Yeah, I think it is. It is April catch up. Is that time of month again where I wrap up everything that I watch, everything new releases, that I watch, and then categorize them in a few groups so that I can put those things under your radar. So if you're interested, you can go check it out. I usually separate them into 4 groups, and I will explain myself as I go along with it. But as I always said, just because this film is in this category doesn't mean that this film is better than the other. I just think these are the films that maybe you should enjoy it in a particular way, maybe at home, maybe in theater. And of course, must watches are always the best for various reasons, but but everything that besides must watch, you can pretty much shuffle them around. It doesn't mean this one is better than the other. And yeah, it's been a while since I talk in front of a camera. This is kind of weird. But before we start anything that I just want to catch up a little bit from March, because I made a March catch-up video, but in that video I forgot to talk about this film called St. Judy. I actually watched it last month, but I forgot to mention it. I watched it. I thought it was okay. It was an okay stream it. So if you're wondering, they put a lot of stuff on the table. Not all of them sticks, but when stuff sticks, it's actually pretty awesome. Some of the courtroom scenes are pretty good. So yeah, St. Judy, pretty solid stream it, I would say. So without further ado, let's just jump into it. First comes the playlist. I'm really considering just renaming it, maybe like stream it A class and B class, but you get the point. Playlist basically means that I think these are the films that you should watch it at home, stream it however you want, but you don't have to pay 100% attention to it, because there are a lot of scenes in it that can't really be cut, and you can leave the screen for 1 minute and then come back. You won't really miss anything, because in that time frame nothing really happens, because for various reasons. First one being Storm Boy. It's an Australian film, I believe. Is this about this old businessman is recalling his childhood memory about his beautiful friendship with a pelican. That's it. It's basically Forrest Gump but telling a friendship with pelican story. I thought this film was a bore. The film was told in non-chronological order. As I said, it's about this old man telling his childhood story to his granddaughter. So we get like intercutting between these two storylines, one in the present and one in the past. And then every time we cut to the present, nothing is going on. It's just literally just a guy sitting down and talking. That's it. There's really nothing much going on in the present story, which it can be a drag when everything is played out and as a runtime goes close to the ending. But I would say there are a few good scenes in it. Some good scenes with the wildlife, some good scenes that they really should just extend it to for the entire film. There are some cool shots with it where like an old man, we're in the present storyline and the camera pans and then we just pan to the past, the flashback scenes. They should definitely do more than that. But after I watched it, I just thought it was so boring. It is kind of boring. And at the end, they're trying to give this grand finale, a really epic life lesson that they think everyone should take away from it. I just didn't really feel it. It's definitely lacking something here. It's overall, I think it's a little bit bland, and that's about it. Next one being The Silence. This one is kind of funny since after A Quiet Place did so well at the box office, after Netflix came out with Bird Box, which got a lot of people, so many people talking about it, here comes The Silence, which is another horror post-apocalyptic world horror film where people can't talk because there are monsters keep creeping around. They're drawn to sounds. It's basically A Quiet Place, but not as good. There are a lot of script and logic inconsistencies in there. There are also characters just teleport. They don't really. Again, there are a lot of inconsistencies where just characters just teleport and to places for no reason, and you wonder how they do it. They don't never really explain it. This film was also started with kind of voiceover and ended with a voiceover and nothing in between, which I thought is. I don't think there's a purpose for that. I get they're trying to tell a story with a certain perspective, which is I don't really think that's necessary. If they're really going for that perspective, telling a story through a specific perspective, they really should have just rewritten everything. Also, there's this character named Rob. I don't give a shit about this character. He's just this guy that our main character kind of talks to every once in a while, maybe like 3 times in the entire film. And that's it. I don't give a shit about this guy. And also there's this iPad who can get Wi-Fi wherever they go. Somehow there's electricity and 100% battery charge. It's weird. And it's definitely trying to catch that A Quiet Place train. It's definitely trying to catch that Bird Box train. But then they realize, oh my God, we shit out this way too quickly. We didn't think of making a good movie. And the silence just, I think, is a byproduct of that. It's on Netflix. Go check it out. Next one being Hellboy. Hellboy is a reboot. I remember it first came out opening weekend. I saw the reviews online. Holy shit, everyone literally just fucking trashed this. Like, I wasn't really looking forward for Hellboy. I don't give a shit about Hellboy. I don't care about Hellboy. Guillermo del Toro in the past with the first 2 Hellboy movies, I think he captured it really well with a fantasy world and these realms and whatnot. He captured it so well in those films. But I was never a fan of Hellboy, the character, and his stories and legends. I don't really care. So I went into Hellboy with an open mind, with really no expectation. But I would say this, it's not a good movie in general, but also I don't think it's as bad Jesus Christ, as bad as a lot of people say. With, I don't know, like 10% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is freaking insane. I would say that the film was loud. It was extremely loud. The score, the sound effects, everything, when they mix everything together, when the action sequences are going down with the metal guitar, electric guitar in the background, it's really, really loud, especially in an IMAX theater, which can become really obnoxious after a while. I got obnoxious just from the opening, like 20 minutes or 10 minutes. But I was David Harbour's portrayal as Hellboy was freaking awesome. Mia Jovovich was freaking awesome. Sasha Lane, okay, but like Ian McShane, I believe that's his name, the Blackbeard in Pirates of the Caribbean. I really like this actor. I thought with his screen presence, he can do so much stuff. They definitely underutilized this cast. Also, there are expositions. There are so much exposition in the film where people just talk, explain stuff, and and then move on, and then somehow we should follow this story that is supposed to be compelling. Is way too much exposition. I would say. Gore, violence in this film there are a lot, but yeah, of course, it's fun to watch blood and gore. But I find a lot of scenes in there, they're really just for fun, just for the sake of it. Hey, we have a Hellboy movie rated R. Let's just put a lot of gore and blood in it, and people will love it. But the thing is, these gore and blood scenes really don't serve any purpose. If they cut them out, the movie will still be the same. We still have the same impact or connection with the film. So it doesn't really add with anything. So that's probably my biggest problem with it. It's just trying to be kind of cool. It's trying to be slick. It's trying to be loud, obnoxious, and it's trying to have like, oh my God, the gore and blood. But after all, when you take a step back and look at this film, it really doesn't have anything that shines, that can stick with you after you walk out of the theater. And yeah, Hellboy was okay. It wasn't as bad as a lot of people say, though. Next one, we have Mia and the White Lion. Not a lot of people saw this, but I did catch it in theater. It's about this little girl who has this white lion as a present, and they created a bond together. But the moment when Mia realized that one day she has to let the white lion go out to the wild, set him free. Now we have a conflict because the family don't think that they should keep it because it's a wildlife. But Mia, our main character, has this super special friendship with the lion, so she doesn't want to let it go. And then we have like this main conflict together. The film, I walked into this film expecting a Storm Boy type of movie, which it's fair. And then it's a completely different story. Before I say anything about the film, I have to acknowledge this: the production side of things behind the film was freaking incredible. It's actually pretty cool. They actually have this main character spend time growing up with this wild lion as they go. So every time they fly to this place where the shooting is happening, they will shoot a couple of scenes, and then the cast will fly back and then come back, and then the whole entire shoot of the film, I believe, lasted a few years at least, because in order to have a real lion and a and a human gain this type of friendship, they need to grow up together. And they actually did it in real life, which is freaking incredible. And I really appreciate and respect everyone behind it for doing that. It's freaking ballsy. At least they didn't do any CGI. It's all real. However, I think the strongest bit of the production side of things also falls to, it also just kind of creates the biggest problem I have with this film. It's sloppy. The setup is sloppy. There's a lot of inconsistencies in there. I feel like it's because they're trying to fly back every once in a while and shoot a scene every once in a while. They kind of derails from what they're trying to do in the first place. For example, I put it here, the first half, there are a lot of logical inconsistency where we see the same thing over and over and over and over again, especially in the first half. And then there should be some kind of progression, right? There's some kind of arc to the story. And yet in the first half, we see these things happening. Nothing changes. Nobody learns anything from anything. It's just the same thing in the first half. The second half, though, I enjoy it a lot better in the second half. Even though there are performances I thought it was a little bit stiff. The script, the dialogue is a lot of the dialogue is a little bit stiff. I think they're trying to do their best with telling a good story, telling a story that can connect people in a way. But all that set aside, at the end of the day, the main character is probably the biggest problem I have with the film, because I don't like this main character. I do not, hands down, I just do not like this main character. I cannot get behind her. It can be the portrayal, it can be in the script, it can be the direction, anything. It can also be the casting. It can be anything during the process. But how the story really revolves around this character, I wasn't really buying it. So when shits are going down, or the audience is supposed to feel for her, I didn't feel anything. So I really don't have this connection with the film. Therefore, it's not really my film. Last one on the playlist is Breakthrough. Let me just get that out of the way. I'm not religious. Breakthrough is a true story about this kid who fall down to the river. They were playing on the river when they were frozen, and the ice starts to crack. The character falls in, and he gets into a coma. And then his mother is trying to keep everyone in line, or like his mother is super religious. He's praying to God to save this kid. And I'm not going to tell you what happens. It is a true story. If you know about it, you know about it. I'm not religious. If you are religious, just let me just say this. I don't like this movie. Not because I'm against religious. Do whatever you want. I just feel like this is the film. This is the film, your Christian cousin. This is the film, your Christian friend, your Christian mom, your Christian friend in church recommend you. Oh, watch Breakthrough. This is the movie. Best movie I've seen this year. But if you're not religious, this is the worst movie you've ever seen this year so far. I know I'm not supposed to hate anything. I almost hated this movie on how freaking spoon-fed it was. It's just like, yo, God is the best. Believe in Jesus, baby. If you're not, you're a dick. And that's the mentality our main character, the mother character, take in the entire film. Everyone who's talking shit, you're a fucking dick. And I can't really get behind that character on a dramatic sense. I'm talking like in real life. You know what? Do whatever you want. Okay, we just got that mother character out of the way. And what about her son? Her son is who is in a coma. How the setup for this son character is also really, really, really poorly. They set him up really poorly. This is a kid. I know he's a kid, but everything that's in the setup before the incident happens, we set this character up as this insanely annoying, this kid, not annoying, but like this kid that is really rude to people. I don't like this kid. So when he's in a coma, I don't give a shit if he wakes up or not, you know? And I'm gonna be honest, when I was watching this film is supposed to be really serious. There are scenes in there that really made me laugh. It's so laughable. It contains one of the worst CPR scene I've ever seen. Like, hands down, I have never seen a CPR scene executed that bad in a film ever. The best thing about the film was this girl. Is this girl that shows up maybe like twice in the film. Her character has nothing to do with the story, but her acting is really on point, and she just probably gave the best performance in the entire film. And also, whenever we have maybe like an emotional scene, I feel like the filmmakers don't have the confidence to just present a scene and let us take it in. They have to add music in the background to tell us what to feel, and that gets annoying a little bit, because I don't want the film to tell me what to feel. Let me feel what you're presenting and make me come up with what I want to feel about it. Don't put music in the background to fake what you can't make. I would just do fine without the music. There are a lot of pop songs in there that I don't know why. Breakthrough is probably my least favorite film of the year so far. But again, I'm not religious. On a storytelling standpoint, I'm still not a big fan of this film. This film is definitely aiming for, number one, if you're religious. Number two, you're probably like middle-aged woman. This film will get you, because there were two like sitting right next to me. They were crying as like fuck. And yeah, so you know what? If you want to watch it, just watch it, stream it. I don't think it's worth going to the theater and worth the ticket price. Moving on to the streamer list. Streamer lists are the films that I think you should wait and stream when you're at home. But of course, pay attention to it. It's so you can wait for Netflix, Amazon, Blu-ray, Redbox, however you want. Stream it at home, have a good time, and yeah. First one being Shazam. Everyone was talking about like, oh, DC finally had a good one. Y'all fucking ignoring Wonder Woman. I think Wonder Woman is better than Shazam. That's in my opinion. There are things happen in the last act, pretty big thing. I didn't read the comics, so I don't know if in the comics that's what happened. If that's what happened, then okay. But I just thought the thing that happened in the last act should have a setup to it, should have an arc to it. But the third act, that thing, it just happens, and then you kind of just have to accept it in a way. I just thought that it was a little bit out of left field, and that's probably my biggest problem with it. But other than that, I had fun watching Shazam. I don't think like this is the film that saved DC. I think that's a little bit too overrated of a statement. But yeah, it's probably it's one of the better ones out of the entire DCEU. I'm pretty sure. Next one being Unicorn Store. It's on Netflix. You can definitely go watch it right now. It's on Netflix. It has Brie Larson in it, Samuel L. Jackson in it. So freaking awesome. I really like this movie. I really enjoy while watching this, because Brie Larson as an actress, I really like her as an actress, and she brings so much energy to Unicorn Store. And I feel like once you have a main character that is so likable, everything you can kind of overlook a lot of things. Sometimes they kind of explain things too blatantly. There are things that for example, the theme of the film, you should like make up your own mind, maybe the subtext of it all. Sometimes they just flat out explain everything to you, which I thought was a little bit jarring. The dialogue sometimes can be a little bit bland, and also the Virgil character, the guy who was playing Virgil, I thought the character was fine. I just thought that was a miscast, because there are scenes in there that really require this Virgil character to bring into the table, some emotional scenes, something that triggers our main character, some crucial scenes. And I just thought the actor didn't really bring it to the table. I think I recognize the actor. He's a likable guy, I think. Like, I've seen him in stuff, I'm pretty sure. He has some charisma to it. I just thought it was a miscast. But at the end of the day, I think Unicorn Store is just a really cute, little, refreshing movie that you can definitely enjoy. It's really colorful. Brie Larson is freaking awesome in this one. And yeah, definitely go check it out. It's on Netflix. Next one being Love, Death, and Robots. It's a series. It's a show on Netflix also. It's an animated show. But it's like every episode has its own story, so you can watch them out of order. It doesn't really matter. It's kind of like Black Mirror in a way, and each episode has its own art style. So one episode we have like this anime kind of style animation, and the other one we have like 3D, and the another one we have like a sketch, like hand drawn or whatever, which is it brings so much more color, figuratively, to the show. and the animations is absolutely stunning. Some of my favorite episodes are Three Robots. The Witness, I think, is probably the best out of them all. Suits, when the yogurt took over the world. When the yogurt took over, Helping Hand, Ice Age. These are some of the things that I really liked. I really also really appreciate the show because they don't really take themselves seriously. There are scenes that are really gory and violent, and it's really fun to watch. I think it's rated R, or I think it was like 18 plus. I don't really remember, but it's definitely that adult demographic type of show in animated form. The entire series, every single episode, is freaking stunning. Sometimes the film are so short. They're like the episodes. I can call them film because basically they're just literally a series of punchline films. We have a setup, punchline, fade to black. That's the entire show. And sometimes they're just one big action sequence. The entire episode or the entire film is just an action sequence with a result, with a climax and a punchline. That's it. And it's so easy to get into. I watched the entire season in 2.5 hours, I believe. So easy to consume. You get over it so quick. And it's so enjoyable. The animations are freaking stunning, especially in the episode Witness. I thought it was real life, but I watched some behind the scene. The entire thing was animated, which is freaking insane. There's this one episode where they talk about when yogurt take over the world. It's funny. Three Robots is also really funny, and it's that kind of black comedy with gore and violence and sex, drugs in it. If you like that kind of stuff, this is definitely for you. I would recommend stream it. This almost got to a must watch. Almost. Next one on the streaming list is The Curse of La Llorona. I made a video about this one, defending it, because people literally trashed this one like a Hellboy. I was really hoping that this one would be good because the director is also helming The Conjuring 3 after this one. So, yeah, that kind of created a lot of things because after this one, people are saying, yo, this guy is doing The Conjuring 3. Oh, we're doomed. We're fucked. I'm not too worried about it, but if you want to know why, I'll leave a card up there so you can check that video out where I made talking about like why I'm not too worried about The Conjuring 3. So in general, to sum up some things that I haven't talked about in that video, I think the jokes will work if the tone can shift entirely because there are jokes in it that just kind of out of left field. And then it will work if they shift the entire film, the tone of the entire film, towards that comedic sense or dark comedy. But when you're doing A Curse of La Llorona, that's really not the path that you want to take. So I thought the jokes you can really take them out. Some beats and camera work are controlled really well. I see a lot of potential in there. This film is also really, really similar to Conjuring. I put it here. But at the end of the day, it's just a series of jump scare and with loud noises in the background. There are also really dumb decisions made by the character or the writing, especially the writing. The writing is the biggest problem I have. There's one rule in the third act. Guess what happens? They break that rule for some dumbass reason. And it's a horror film that made me laugh. But again, I'm not too worried about The Conjuring 3. Next one being Stockholm. Nobody is talking about this one. I went out of my way to watch it because Stockholm came out the week when Avengers Endgame came out. So, like, nobody's watching other films other than Endgame. So I went to see Stockholm. The film was pretty okay. It's actually pretty funny. It's about this bank robbery. It's about this bank robbery where an employee in the bank kind of falls for the robber. It's a true story. She kind of falls for the robber, and they kind of have this like little secret relationship together. It really reminded me of Dog Day Afternoon because everything took place in a bank for the entire film, and the robber can't get out. It's almost exactly like Dog Day Afternoon. Ethan Hawke in this film was really funny. The script can be polished a little bit because sometimes things just happen. They can't really kind of build up to it more. The directing also is not bad. The directing a little bit nondescript. You can't really see it. I was like, oh, That's some new stuff I haven't seen before, or you can watch it. Well, oh, I know who the director is without looking who the director is. So a little bit nondescript. The performances are all fine. I am a big sucker for claustrophobic stuff. Anything claustrophobic thriller, horror, anything that comes that deals with claustrophobic. And Stockholm is that. It's fun. It's a good time. Stream it at home and have a laugh. I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy it. Now, last one on the list is Pet Sematary. I almost forgot this film. Literally, I put this on the list last second. I was like, oh shit, I almost forgot this one. Pet Sematary is a remake of the original that came out in the 70s. I don't remember. It's Stephen King's novel adaptation. I don't have a lot of things to say about the film. There are a lot of scenes in it that are pretty good, pretty cool. Some imagery that are pretty creepy. Some build up that are and building up tensions are controlled pretty well. There are also a lot of loud noises and jump scares that are so unnecessary in a way. There's this truck that passes by, and that is supposed to make you jump for some reason. I don't understand that, but it takes a lot of setup. It takes so much setup to get to where you are excited about, to get to that juicy part. The third act is probably my favorite part of the film. The third act was freaking insane. And everything before that is a slow burn, a lot of exposition, a lot of setup. You just kind of have to sit through it. But at the end of the day, Pet Sematary, alright, alright. Next one, we have go to the theater list. These are the films that I think you should definitely go to the theater and watch. And I would say most of these aren't on theater anymore when this video comes out, but you get the point. I think these are the films that is worth the ticket price, that is worth going to the theater and experience on the big screen, at least paying $12 or $13 for it. First one being Hotel Mumbai. I didn't expect anything from the film because the poster looked kind of boring. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't watch any trailers. The poster just kind of boring. It's an AK-47 with a bunch of headshots on top, and I'm not a big fan of the poster. It's like, okay, Hotel Mumbai. Okay, let's get this. Oh man, I was wrong. Fucking intense as shit. This film was intense. It's about this true story. I didn't know about this. Maybe I was too young. It's about this true event that happened in the past where there's a bunch of terrorist attack in India, and then people are rushing over to Hotel Mumbai for sanctuary, but some shooters kind of sneaked in and they trying to hide. Everything happened in that hotel, and they're trying to wait for the police to show up and help and save the people. I don't know if the characters featured in there are real or fictional. I'm not sure. I think it's probably fictional. They're probably going for that Titanic route where Jack and Rose they're fictional, but the event is true. I think it's probably what's going on here. One of the things that I noticed while watching this film is that the director is the director's choice. He had this interesting use of wide shots, because when we're in a claustrophobic space, when a character that you're supposed to care about rounds a corner, when he or she doesn't know what's on the other side, it's kind of interesting when the director kind of pulls to a wide shot, so the audience will always get ahead of our main character to see what's going on, and then we have that oh shit moment before the main character actually experiences that oh shit moment, which I thought was super interesting when it comes to using the use of wide shots and whatnot. It's definitely interesting. Some of the downside I have with the film is some of the few editing. I'm kind of nitpicking at this point. I think some of the editing choices are a little bit jarring. Some of the character choices are a little bit stupid. I don't know if they're going for that or not, because when you have a material like this, you never know if they're trying to show people kind of panic in these type of situations, so they do dumb shit, or do they just write these characters in a dumb way? So you never know. You can't know which is which. So I'm gonna give them benefit of the doubt. They wrote that in intentionally. But Hotel Mumbai was really intense. I really like how intense it was, and the use of wide shots was really interesting. Definitely go check it out. It's a really good theater experience. So yeah, go check it out. Next up, we have the Mustang. I don't have a lot to say about this one. But the Mustang was pretty good, especially the performance. The performance from our main character, I forgot his name. I see so much in his eyes alone. His performance in this film was freaking beautiful. Probably the best thing about the film. It's a character piece. Also, we also see some resemblance. It's a horse movie. We also see some resemblance between the character and the horse. They kind of, because the horse is kind of in captivity. He is also in captivity. So we have this reflection going on. If the film was really well shot and is really not plot heavy. It's just a character piece that kind of follows him throughout what he's thinking. There are some really good moments here and there. Definitely pay the ticket just purely on that performance. It should win you over how good the performance was. Next up, we have Missing Link. This film really surprised me as well because I really enjoy Missing Link. First off, animation was freaking awesome. It's not animation, sorry. Stop motion. Stop motion was fucking seamless in this film. I thought it was like a Lego movie situation where they're trying to make stop motion by animation, but they in Missing Link they actually did it with stop motion, actually frame by frame. There's this during credit scene where they show a scene how they how they film that stop motion, which is always interesting. I found this film Missing Link to be for adults. I don't think kids or young kids will enjoy this as much as an adult, because I feel like there are jokes in it or there are subject or theme in it that kids can't really fully appreciate. When you're an adult, when you know a little bit more stuff, when you watch Missing Link, it hits you more. The dialogue in the film are surprisingly well written. I never really expect that to be done in a film like this. The dialogue are surprisingly good. Back and forth, snappy, to the point. Each have his own voice. Awesome. Some of the beats and jokes are delivered in a really different way that I've never seen before. And also there's this one joke near the end. Okay, there's this one joke at the end that really made me laugh out loud in the theater. I'm not even kidding. Like there were not a lot of people in the theater, in the Dolby theater. Not a lot of people were there. So when that joke hit, I freaking laughed out loud. So funny. Definitely go watch Missing Link. It's fucking beautiful visually, and it's funny, and you can have a laugh. Definitely go watch it in the theater. Next one, we have Teen Spirit. Of course, no one saw this. I don't think, no one saw this. It's a little movie. I put it in the go to theater list because I really appreciate how this film was made. The fact that this film was made, because every once in a while we get this little movie. Last year was Hearts Beat Loud. Teen Spirit is that film where they're not trying to be anything else. They're just a group of filmmakers trying to make the best film they want to make. They can, and you can truly see it. Hearts Beat Loud, you can see it. Teen Spirit's another one. You can truly see the filmmakers behind it are so passionate about what they do. But overall, Teen Spirit is really just about this country girl. There's just nobody. This normal girl goes on this singing competition because she likes to sing. And then all of a sudden, she got this overnight fame because of how good she was. And of course, a lot of record label trying to sign her and whatever. We have this kind of situation going on. But overall, it's just an underdog story, a really simple underdog story, a nobody coming up, rise to fame. That's it. I do have some nitpicks. I thought the ending is a little bit abrupt. They really could have just added another scene or two. They kind of just boom, that's it, get out, credit. So I think the ending's a little bit abrupt. And when I was watching it, it really feels like they're trying to catch that Pitch Perfect train, because there are so many songs in there that they sing. It's really outdated. Like it's basically this character, this actress, who is supposed to be Dakota Fanning's sister, but she looks like Cara Delevingne, but she's also singing Ellie Goulding's song, which is kind of funky when you think about that. It feels like a reality TV with a lot of behind the scene footage also at times, but after all, it has good intention. The filmmakers behind it they're really passionate about what they do, and I think that's super worth the price that you pay for a ticket to go support film like this. Next one is High Life. High Life. Yep. High Life. After Ruben Brandt, that video that I put together, I kind of want to make a video about High Life because nobody is doing it. You know how on YouTube there are a lot of explain videos, ending explain, shit like that. There's nothing for highlights because nobody understands it. I don't have a lot of things to say about this film. All I can say is fucking beautiful how it was shot. The score also really good. The performances are also really good. And that's everything that I want to say. Because I'm not sure how to go about talking about this film. I don't fully understand it yet. I only watched it once. If I have the drive, I will go back and watch it the second time and in hopes of finding something new and then make a video about it. So I'm just gonna leave it here. High life watching in theater because it's really fucking beautiful visually. Next up we have Arctic. Directed by Joe Penna. He will never be Joe Penna for me. He will always be Mystery Guitar Man in my mind. And that's the exact reason why you should go to the theater and pay money for this, because he is our fellow friend, right? He's the YouTuber that used to do stop motions a lot on YouTube. If you don't know, go check his channel out. He's not uploading that much anymore. It's just stop motion videos. It's fucking bomb. It's freaking bomb. Mystery Guitar Man, go check it out. But leaving that aside, leaving all the bias aside, the film was pretty good. It's not bad. There are a lot of the film was mainly shot in fixed camera. Everything was set on a tripod. That's it. It's about this guy who's stuck, who's trying to survive, trying to get help. That's it. As I was watching this film, I really hope that they really can go for that no line, that silent film, almost silent film, because there are scenes in there they can cut out. They can cut out the dialogue. They can just have characters stare at each other or do stuff, and we know exactly what they're thinking. And I think they should really go for that, but they didn't. The film was really well shot, really beautiful. Some of the wide shots are beautiful. Almost everything is visual storytelling, which I can really, really appreciate. And they actually went to the actual location to shoot the film. So go support Mr. Guitar Man and go support the film. The film wasn't that bad. Last one on the go to the theater list is Disneynature Penguins. I enjoyed this movie, alright? Fuck it. I enjoyed this movie. It's a documentary about this penguin named Steve. It's about 1 hour and 16 minutes long. It's really short. I watched it in theater. It's freaking beautiful. The film was shot so beautifully, and the filmmakers behind it are so fucking into their work. How they they spend years to gather all these footage to tell a cohesive story to the audience, and it's freaking beautiful. They show you how they put the film together, how they shot the footage during the credit scene, which is beautiful. And I think that's it. It's just about this penguin and, his coming of age story, essentially. Also, I can appreciate they have some suspense built in the film. Oh man, that I didn't expect. Moving on to the must watch. These are the film must watch, are the best. I think you definitely should watch it, if anything. The funny part of this list this month is that until like a week ago, like 7 days ago or something like that, I have nothing on the must watch. I'm like, damn, the first time ever I don't have anything on the must watch. And then I watched 3 films and then, okay, here we go. Next, first one being Ruben Brandt Collector. It's kind of obvious. I watched this film twice. I read a couple of sections of the script. I made a whole video dissecting everything in the film. I'll leave a card up there. Ruben Brandt Collector explained in 18 minutes. Go check that video out. I put a lot of work and time into that. But I'm not saying this film doesn't have flaws. It has a lot of hidden messages and hidden meanings in there. I explain everything in the video. It feels like a polished version of Velvet Buzzsaw. It kind of came out like 2 months ago or something like that. And Ruben Brandt Collector is kind of like that, but with a little cherry on top, with a little sprinkle in there, because it's Velvet Buzzsaw adding Inception. It's kind of like merging those two together. We have dream sequences, we have haunting sequences, like they're cutting back to back and back to back. The visual is it took a while to really get me into it, because at first it's kind of weird. I never seen anything like an art style like that in a film before. So it definitely took me 10 minutes to kind of get into the art style, appreciate the storytelling. And once I got over that, the animation is really, really stunning. I would say this though, the voiceover sometimes they're a little bit weird. I think the action sequences in this film are top notch, are so fun to watch, and also the soundtrack and the music and how they it's really good. Everything that that I want to talk about Ruben Brandt Collector is in that video, but it is spoiler, so take my word for it. Go watch it and watch that video. Next one being Daddy Issues. This is, again, nobody watched this one. I almost didn't watch it. Daddy Issues, okay, it's not a good movie. It's generally speaking, it's not a good movie. But I enjoy the hell out of the film. That is so fun to watch this film. It's so fun. It's freaking, the material is kinky enough. It's about this daughter, this kid, this girl who's kind of hooking up with this other girl. But this girl is also doing something that kind of interferes with this girl. So they kind of have this secret against each other. So like I don't want to spoil anything, but the thing is, it's freaking kinky. It's funny. I don't think it's funny intentionally, but it's fun to watch how you see these characters kind of unravel their secrets to each other, or how they encounter character, how they talk to each other. There are directorial choices in there. I'm not a big fan, but sometimes we shift from that to like, oh shit, that's a really good choice made from the director. That's some good scene right there. But at the same time, that style I'm not really a big fan of. I think the pop songs used in the film is definitely an overkill. There are a lot of songs in there that I was like, you can cut it out. A lot of montages that I don't think is necessary. A lot of assholes characters in the film, which I freaking love, because we just have these characters being dick to each other, and it's freaking awesome. They all have their story to tell, right? They all have their perspective, and when they come clashing against each other, and it's really fun to watch when they butt head against each other. There's this one moment in the film near the end, almost at the end, which I was fucking cheering, just dead out cheering, like fucking yes, this is the film that I love. Once again, generally this is not a good movie, but it's so fun because it's so satisfying when everything unravels, and it's just, oh my god, you have to watch this movie. And one thing before I stop talking about this one, they really can't stretch it longer, because without the credit, it's like 80 something minutes or 70 something minutes. It's really, 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 really short. They really can't stretch it because I was having so much fun. Last one on the list is, of course, Avengers Endgame. Infinity War didn't make it to the list, I think, from last year, but I think I can pretty much say after Avengers Endgame, I can say that the Russo's brothers are some of the best directors working today. How they helmed these big action set pieces is incredible. It's fucking incredible. I always say, I used to always say, and I still sometimes say, that I'm not a big fan of superhero movies, and I mean it. But like, people take it the wrong way. When I say I'm not a big fan of superhero movie, and they be like, why you hate superhero movie? What don't you like about them? Here's the thing, I don't hate them. I'm just not a huge fan of them. Like, I like them. They're good popcorn movie to me. There are some cool, interesting characters and visuals, and they're fun to watch. And it's incredible what the MCU has accomplished in the past 11 years. It's fucking incredible. And I'll tell you that Endgame is one of the nerdiest film I've ever seen. Is probably the biggest superhero film I've ever seen, topping Infinity War. And after this movie, I can officially say the Russo brothers joining the list, because there are only like 4 people on the top of my head that I can think of that can make me sit there for 3 hours and not get bored for 1 second. Martin Scorsese did it with The Casino. Steven Spielberg did it with Schindler's List. Francis Coppola did it with The Godfather Part 2. And who else? James Cameron with Titanic. Now we have the Russo's brother with Endgame. I didn't get bored to the entire runtime of Endgame for 3 hours and 2 minutes. But here's the thing, still way too fucking long. There are so many scenes in there that I would just dead ass cut it out because it doesn't serve anything. How many scenes are there in the first half just to make a joke, just to make a laugh without pushing the story forward? How much time we spend in the Thor cabin? How much time I'm not gonna spoil anything. Don't worry about it. How much time are we gonna spend over here? How much time are we gonna spend over there? And the setup was fine. It's definitely slow because, like I said, there are just way too many things happening. There are way too many things happening, especially when it comes to the action sequences. Because when the action sequences are going down, if you follow MCU, you know what happens. Like, for example, in Infinity War, when things are happening, it's all over the place because everyone is doing different things. And also in Endgame, especially when the action sequences are going down, we have character that is doing this, and then we cut back to other things. 20 minutes later, we cut back to the same scene that happened like 20 minutes ago, but it's still maybe 1 minute happened in screen, like in their world, but it's 20 minutes in reality, which is really jarring because it's all over the place. This film is fan service. The plot is a fan service, and you can take it or leave it. I don't see the problem with it. I don't see the big deal there. But here, like, you can really talk shit about this film. There are things in it that you're like, that doesn't make sense. Why is he here? Why is she there? Blah 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 blah. You can talk shit about this film all you want because there are, especially when it's dealing with the material that they're dealing. It's tough. It's really tough to kind of tackle the material. The third act is fucking awesome. The third act, hands down, is fucking awesome. I have to admit, how Russo brother did everything, it's just incredible. And I think if there's one film that make me like these superheroes a little bit more, it's probably Endgame. And after Civil War, I think like Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame are the three films that I really liked. But still, biggest problem, way too fucking long. Cut out the jokes, cut out the things that doesn't mean anything. You can cut this movie down to like 2 hours and 40 minutes type of stuff. But definitely, I really like how they bring these superheroes down to real people, have them deal with their troubles, have them deal with their personal stuff that they're going through. So that's I'm gonna leave it, and that will wrap up this video. That's the last film I watched in the month. And yeah, thank you for watching this video. It's been an okay month. For the entire, maybe like the first 3 weeks of the month, I wasn't really looking forward for anything because, man, there's no must watch. And then 3 films like Ruben, Brandt, Daddy Issues, and Endgame came. So I'm like, okay, 3 must watches in a week. So definitely tell me in the comments what you think of these films, things that I missed, things you can recommend, things that you don't agree with me, or anything like that. Leave it in a comment. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in end of May. With the May catch up, I'll see what I can do with High Life because it's definitely lacking that on the YouTube community, and I would love to make a video about it if I can take it because it is really confusing. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time by the end of May at least. Maybe before that. I'm working on something else. Yeah, bye.